my dream. A soldier who will never die. America needs citizens like you to do their part for the war.
You gotta be shitting me.
This is the army I told you about.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor, comedian, former basketball journalist in Eastern Europe, Martin Harris. He had some great stories about his journey from Eastern Europe to Hollywood with a stop working at the Comedy Store along the way. So if you haven't listened to that, make sure you check that out after this week's episode. And man, this is something. This is like a holiday. So this is like we're kicking off our holiday season sort of because these are like sort of toys, I guess, because the title of this movie is if you hear that huffing and puffing, that's I guess I'll introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie,
you're not going to ask him how I'm doing?
I know how you're doing. You're fuming.
I am fuming, and I'm going to go back to something that we had a debate once that marionettes and are not puppets, right? Or is that what?
One of those, yeah. We were
something
talking Friday the 3rd. No, Nightmare 4.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
And you said I said Pinocchio's a puppet, and you said no, he's not. Okay, but we just watched a movie called Puppetmaster, and there wasn't one puppet in this movie. So basically, He-Man monsters are considered puppets. Okay, I mean, based on this movie, that's what is a puppet. It's considered a puppet. So you're going to tell me you're still going to think that Pinocchio's not a puppet?
I love that 2 weeks in a row, Friday 7, and then this, we're mentioning He-Man. But yeah, so I went down like a rabbit hole, like thinking about this movie, thinking about, so I don't even know. I don't know. This might be one of those reviews that we don't even like go in a specific order because there's like one thing that I want to talk about for probably the whole time. Like this is like the shortest notes that I've ever had. And I know you mentioned you don't have a lot. And it's not that I don't have a lot because there wasn't a talk about. There was only 4 sets that they used in the whole movie. But I gotta say, I gotta mention it off right off the bat.
Before you go there, I want to say that this and I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself in a lot of these movies we've been watching lately.
Yeah.
This has been one of the worst movies that I've seen. And it took me so long to get through this. And I'll tell you what, like one of the main reasons why it's called Puppetmaster. I think the puppets are in this maybe a total of 8 minutes. It's an hour-and-a-half movie, and it's filled with nonsense, and the puppets that don't move. Now, this is the 10th movie in the series. You would think they might have improved something. They make Munchie look like seriously.
That's why I wore it, because I was gonna say at least give me something. So I just have to jump in and say this.
Okay.
The fact that I had to Google it. I'm watching this movie, and we have Danny who's talking to the puppets, and he's staring at them, and we're getting a stare at them and music, like a little violin, like, and then he goes, "You know what? You're right, Blade." And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I Google it. They don't talk. They just telepathically talk to whoever the puppet master is. I'm like, shut up. Get out of here.
Okay. See, right. So one, I guess it's a continuation of part 9, but I'm sure not a lot of people have seen part 9. So anyone that's watching part 10 doesn't explain anything about this movie. It really just jumps in there, and I was confused. Then, yeah, is he the puppet master, or is the guy that created him the puppet master? Because I'm assuming this guy Danny did not sort of inherited the puppets. Like, I don't know.
It's whoever. Yeah. So in the first movie, this is like the rabbit hole. Cause I remember my buddy's older brother, Billy Wilson, he showed me Puppetmaster as a kid. And that was more. So another thing, there's like no deaths in this movie. I'm thinking these puppets are going to just kill everyone around. They're like kind of friendly and they're trying to help out.
But even the bad puppets that have machine guns miss everybody. I think there's 2 deaths in this movie. Maybe 3 if you count the guy in the beginning. But 1, I can't believe how racist this movie is.
Oh my God.
Okay. I mean, so there's a racist puppet that I couldn't believe the way they did.
Kamikaze?
Oh my goodness. I mean, like, so this movie, and again, being the Puppetmaster, it looked like they was He-Man monsters and someone just keep turning their head off screen slightly to show reaction. Like, this is the 10th one. So clearly there's an audience for this series. I mean, they made 10, which I'm amazed that they got past 2. So they made 10. You're going to tell me people are watching these puppets that barely move? That there's basically a He-Man. I used to have a lot of He-Man monsters. I could have made this movie on this, looks like the same kind of budget, considering, like you said, there's only 4 sets. The acting is horrendous. Wait, hold on.
There's one person that is great.
Well, I also think...
2, I guess.
Okay. I think Sergeant Stone is more of a puppet than the puppets. Like, he looks like the main character in that movie, the Toy Soldiers or
Small Soldiers, yeah.
Small Soldiers.
Sarge?
Yes.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like that guy.
So 2 things I'm going to say, which is kind of crazy. Like, when it comes to like Full Moon, they're known for putting out like legendary horror movies over the years. And then Charles Band, like the movies that he puts out now, like, he did like the Evil Bong movies and stuff. So they're like silly. They have an audience, like those type of movies. But here's what I have to say, that which is kind of like crazy to say, is the movie doesn't look bad. Like, when you watch this movie, like I'm saying visually, I'm not talking about like the sets, the puppets, the actors, anything like that. I'm just saying like camera. I'm like, why don't the newer full movies look like that? Because when you see a trailer of like a newer movie, it just seems like it's all shot on a cell phone. Like, this actually looks like this could be a movie. Obviously not a good movie with everything put together.
Well, I think, and I feel like some of the actors really acted like it's a real movie. Like, I mean, like they really like, so I feel like, I think that's part of the problem. Like I said, I mean, the puppets are barely in this movie. They're really like, they're not a lot. It's mostly these actors. And I feel like, you know, they're trying to really, I mean, there's a slow scene between the German lady and the German guy. And it's like a 15-minute scene of like nonsense. And it was so slow and boring, but it looked like they were really trying to act in the scene. And so like, I think, like, they tried to act whatever they had in the script, but it just doesn't work. It was, no one wants to see this. They want to see the puppets fight. I just want to see puppets kill and fight. That's it. And there was none of that.
I know. But no, so again, to the bright side, the blonde lady was, oh my God. We'll talk about what happens with her in this movie is crazy. The fact that the first time, we'll get that in a little bit. The first time you're like, oh, she's putting them on. Then the next time you're like, she's not putting them on. This is like real.
And and I also felt like she was going to be in the movie longer. Like, what happens to her? I thought like it was going to work because they wanted to keep her in the movie, and she kind of like left the movie.
That was funny, right?
It's ridiculous. And her accent, there are times that it was pretty good, and then there was times that I feel like her accent went out the window. They
forgot, yeah. It was like a practice take. And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep it." It's like, "Oh no, I wasn't doing it."
Yeah.
So I would say the one person that I really love that would go on my like sequel, like not Mount Rushmore, but like the Mean Genes of the world. Like, in these bad movies, you have these people that you remember forever. Sarge. I wrote down so many of his lines. Like Danny, the guy that played Danny was very like, he reminded me of like the guy from Psycho Cop 2, Brian Ryan, like just
whoa. He's not that bad. Brian Ryan is the worst character ever that we've done so far.
Alan.
No. I mean, your ass stinks is a classic line, so that gives him points. But Ryan, there was no classic lines. But yes, he was boring. He wasn't like I said, these characters were, so like I said, Sergeant Stone was more of a puppet. Like, to me, he was the best character. I agree with you.
Oh, Every line, it was funny. Whoever wrote whoever wrote the script really loved that character because every line was a one-liner. Like everything he said, it was never like a normal, like just a normal sentence that you or I would say every day. It had like a you bunch of turds. Like there was like something at the end of everyone.
And even the way he looked, like he was perfect. Like his look, like, he looks like a Street Fighter guy too. I forget which character. Like
Zangief? Oh no, Guile. He looks like Guile.
Right, yeah, as I'm saying, like he just like he looks like a cartoon character. Like they made like a real life cartoon character out of the Sarge. And I think he was the most animated. When you have a movie called Puppetmaster and you have an actor who's more animated than the actual puppets, that's a problem.
And so let's talk about the puppets a little bit before we get into this movie, because I know they're going to come up every so often. So the puppets in this movie, though, we'll talk about the good puppets, which makes no sense to me that there's like, so to get the fans maybe to like the change, because I'm sure these puppets were killing innocent people in 1 through 8, maybe. And then in 9, they had to change of heart. And then in this one, they're like, yeah, we want to kill the Nazis too. So they're like on the side of America.
Well, I mean, so again, I've never seen any of the Puppet Masters, so I don't know. But these are the same puppets that are from the first movie.
Well, I can say definitely Blade.
Okay,
Blade's been in all of them.
Okay,
I don't know about the one that there's one that has a name that I didn't understand until we saw what it.
Oh, the
Leech Woman.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either. Right. I mean, which is weird because I don't know how that happens, but you know, it's so she has a real leech coming out of a wooden puppet. How weird! Like, how does that work? And you know what, Blade, he looks fantastic, right? Like the face, like he's very cool looking. If they made it animated somehow, like they could have do like stop motion or something with them, it's a cool character, but I can't imagine him looking like if that's how he looks in all the movies. I don't know how they made 10 of them.
Yeah, they did make a couple years after this. Again, I'm not going to say it's good, but I don't know who wrote it, but they did it more of like a horror comedy, and he does look more animated. It looks like they did like more like CGI, and like Tom Lennon's in it.
Wait, after this one?
Yeah, after this one, it's called like Little Reich.
Wait, there's 11 of these movies?
Oh, I think there's like 13 or.
Oh my goodness! I thought it was like The Ender.
No, because the one after this is the one with Eric Roberts and Vanessa Angel, isn't it?
Oh, the demonic toys?
No, I thought there was one that was a Puppet Master one.
No, there's a Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, and that's with Vanessa Angel.
Really?
Yeah, she's in it. It's a crossover because I guess there's a series of Demonic Toys. I don't know. I can't.
So Leech Woman, Pinhead looked like he looked like what's his name?
Beetlejuice.
From the original Adams. I
was gonna say he looked like Beetlejuice. So he had small head with a big body.
Oh yeah, sort of. Yeah, I was talking about the face. He looked exactly like the actor who played Fester in the original Addams Family. I can't think of his real name. I should know it.
Oh, the original, not Christopher Lloyd.
The original, yeah. No, not Christopher Lloyd. Shit, I should know his name too. And then who was the other one? Wait, and then Tunneler and Jester.
Okay. So I could see Tunneler being obviously he does a kill in this movie. You know, I could see the tiny head. What's his name? Pinhead. Okay. So he's got the strength. Blade's got the blade. What does Jester do? He didn't do anything this whole movie except he spins his head around.
Yeah, changes his facial expression when he's very sad that he can't go. Some people have to stay behind, and then he.
So do the puppets talk in any of the movies?
I don't think so. No, I'm telling you, they talk telepathically, which I don't. Maybe in 1987 when they did the first one, they're like, "Guys, we can't afford to do the talking," and then maybe they're like, "Man, I would love in the future we have the money to make them talk." You know what? I would even settle for the way that they zoomed in on their faces. Remember, there was that scene when they were talking in the bedroom, in Danny's bedroom, which is so bizarre that they weren't talking in the living room. But anyway, they're in this, it's like childhood bedroom, and they're going from puppet to puppet, and we're getting reaction shots of him telling them like about like the mission that they're going to go on. And I would settle for a voice coming out of no mouth moving. Yeah. I would totally settle for that instead of his reaction of going, "You know what, Pinhead, you're right." Well,
2 of them do make noise. So I think the Leech Girl does make like Minnie Mouse like moan, like 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 she does things like that. And then the Japanese guy does like under his breath, he does like a Japanese accent, like or I should say like a Japanese grunt is basically what he does. Like know, but okay, fine, I'll take that. Like if they all should like have at least like a Critters or some kind of, what was the movie we watched? Ghoulies. They should have like a Ghoulies noise or something, but nothing. Like there's no animation. I mean, it's bad enough they don't move, but no sound either. It's like horrible.
Ghoulies at the third one, they've said, you know what? Let's have them talk. This is number 10. They're like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's just I can't believe. Who's the audience for this then? Like are there like real horror fans that love? I mean, clearly they have 10 of them. So I just want to know, like, are these the same people that like Friday the 13th, or are these like non-horror fans?
I don't think so.
Because this is awful. It is. I can't imagine if this is the 10 and this is like the worst one. I can't imagine like how much better can the other ones be? Like.
Just somebody was like, oh, dude, this is the best one. Oh my god, what are the other ones? But jeez. So let's like go into this movie. So then you have Full Moon again. The history of Full Moon. They've worked on so many amazing movies over the years. And then I knew that we were into some issues when we get an Asian woman,
a geisha,
and
a geisha.
What was it?
She's like, no, she's a geisha. She was a Japanese, geisha when they were.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what year does this movie take place?
It's definitely like 42, 43.
Okay, but outside of like obviously knowing the concept with the Nazis and everything else, you think it is, but is it? I mean, I was wondering, like, is it really during World War II? Is it not during World War II? Is it just does Nazis just happen to be there? Like, because were there old cars?
Well, Hitler's alive. We don't see him, but we see a bust of him, and we see Heinrich say, I will make him regret not believing in my idea.
Okay. Well, I mean, he could be dead, and he could be saying that.
Maybe. But the fact that, like, somebody had to get commissioned in 2011 to make a bronze Hitler bust that was sitting in the background.
So why is there a geisha? Why is there a geisha?
Oh, I have no idea. She was like, maybe she was in the last one. I have no idea. But from what Danny says, she was sort of working with Danny, and then she was working with the military as well, like getting information in that alleyway that was like the whole movie.
I that alleyway looked like where the Gremlins, where Gizmo came from. Like,
yes,
that's what it looked like. I looked like the set of where they got Gizmo. But I mean, like, okay, but she like. But what was she? Is she like, why'd they want her so bad? Like, why did she have the puppet in the first place? We don't know that.
Why did she have Tunneler? I don't know. I don't know if they mentioned why she had Tunneler. Did he get left? Oh, you know what it was? No, he got left behind. They all went on the mission like the day before or a few days before where Danny and Beth survived. And I love that nobody believes them. Like, you could have done this by yourself. The old Sarge was like, I know it wasn't you two. Let me in on the real truth. What happened? What went down?
This is 10 movies in. You're going to tell me it's not known there's puppets running around? This is 10 movies in. I mean, again, I'm assuming there's been a lot of deaths in these 10 movies outside of this one.
I hope so. We only saw 4.
Okay, but so
5.
And they're obviously all hanging around the same area. You're going to tell me no one's heard of puppets being around? Like Sarge has no idea about puppets?
Could you imagine if all the other movies? I know the other movies are set like in the more like 80s, and then they somehow go backwards in other movies.
Oh, they don't
know how.
I thought they were all taking place.
No. I don't think they all are. I think this is like, I don't understand that. Really, like the fact that the 10th one goes back in time to.
Well, no, because it's a continuation of the 9th one, so the 9th one's back in time.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man! All right. Well, I'm sure someone is going to comment about the why we're back in time. So
Egan, tell us when
where is
he went back in time. How did they get into the wormhole to go back in time? Because I don't know. Just like you said, Blade looked cool. I wrote that he kind of looked like the preacher. He looked like Reverend Kane from Poltergeist too. Like he had like the deep eyes.
He did,
and he had like the hat. I'm like, oh, this is him. But dude, there's just so many things. And I love that the Germans, which I wrote, and I did not get my wish. I hope I don't have to deal with these bad accents the whole movie.
Oh.
Luckily, one of them get killed, so I don't have to worry about one of them. But I love that she gives Heinrich the bag, and he's like, I don't want your trinkets from the past. And I'm like, and then, so that's what made no sense. So it seemed like she was meeting with them to give him that.
Well,
so was she really helping out
I
Danny?
don't think so. I think because as soon as they open the bag, he kills one of the Nazis.
He does, yeah.
What's his face?
Tunneler.
Okay.
The Tunneler.
Okay. So I think maybe her assignment was to kill the main bad guy. And because he had one of his henchmen open the bag, you got him instead.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if that was what it was?
Has to be.
I get you a present.
But again, she's like, this is about the Germans. So why is there a geisha walking around?
No.
Okay.
No idea. And they never said like where in America. They just like kind of alluded to it every so often. They've like, you just kind of guess because there was so much like military and Danny was in his boyhood home. So you just guessed that it was there. But one thing I have to say is, what about these bags? Are they special bags? Because wouldn't Tunneler just like, I know that was his goal, I guess, he was told to kill whoever opened the bag, but like when they put him back in the bag and took him, couldn't he have just tunneled out of it and got away?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, why didn't he?
Or when he was at the lab, he wasn't like handcuffed or anything.
Maybe he's
tunneled out.
Yeah, but maybe he's like a parakeet. When you put like a blanket over him, he falls asleep. So maybe when you put him in a bag, it's it's like a Toy Story thing. When Andy's comes around, they fall asleep. So he's sleeping in the bag until you take him out.
Oh
but even so, when they take him out, how come he doesn't attack the doctor?
True.
I mean, he's literally just laying there while the doctor's dissecting him.
Maybe he knows that the doctor's being held up. Maybe these puppets know more than whatever they are. I don't know if they're real puppets.
And not for nothing, the movie is basically trying to reanimate humans. That storyline goes nowhere.
Nowhere at all.
I mean, because
that's just like Reanimator. It's the same thing as Reanimator.
It is.
The same color, goo, everything.
But it goes nowhere. Like once like that doesn't happen, like, all right, let's just go on puppets instead. Like that whole plot, that's the main plot of the movie. That's why he wants that doll, so he can figure out how to reanimate, I guess, why would that make sense? Why did he think that a puppet is the secret behind reanimating a human?
I don't know. He just had like this obsession because he had that room be like when we first met the doctor. I forget his name. Freyhofer. I think his name's Freyhofer, like Freyhofers. But yeah, so Freyhofer like always had this little room. There was a huge room, like his little office, I guess, that he would like when he wasn't working on the Reanimated project, he was like working with his toys in the other room for some weird reason. So he had like no idea until he like met the Tunneler that this was actually like something that could be real. But how about like when the main Nazi guy, I forget his name, but he slits the guy's throat and then he goes, and the idea is pretty good concept, right? You have an army of undead. You wouldn't be able to kill them. So it'd be like essentially unstoppable, right?
Right.
So he slits his throat and then the doctor has to try to save him and he does. And you're like, holy shit, it worked. And then his face melts.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this is the main plot of the movie.
Yeah.
And goes nowhere. And is the doctor being held against his will?
He is, but he walked to work.
That's what I'm saying. So why is he even going there? And like they didn't talk about like they kidnap his family or anything. I thought maybe like they were but they don't mention that. He's being held against his will, but he walks to work.
Do you remember how he got into work?
Oh my goodness.
By pressing the brick in the wall?
Ridiculous. So you're going to tell me, okay, so obviously that secret, like we talk about the secret hideouts all the time, right? The villain's secret lairs that no one ever finds it ever. I mean, that you assume that secret lair has been there for a long time. No one's ever walked. I mean, there were garbage pails, so garbage men are there all the time.
Wouldn't they be finding out? Wouldn't they be like, holy shit, why do we pick up garbage at this? Like,
who's leaving the garbage here? Right. Nothing.
But yeah, until that point, so he walked to work that day to his to him, like prison. He's held against his will. He's really not. But until like that moment, then he's like, I just want to see my family. But we never know that. They never say that his family's kidnapped or anything.
Yeah.
I think he just wants to hang with the blonde.
Oh, well, he definitely. Well, that was creepy. That was.
We'll get to that in a few minutes.
All right,
I gotta
all right.
I gotta make sure my stomach's okay before we.
That was so
get
gross.
To
that was gross.
I would say most of my notes, as I'm looking at it, are mostly in quotations, and they're lines from the movie. Like one is when he finds out that Tunneler's gone, Danny, and he's talking to Beth. He goes, "We can't take on the Nazis and the Japanese at the same time, like we did last night." What? So
you're telling me those in the previous movie, then those two and 4 dolls took on the Japanese and the Germans?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we talk about Chucky, like how difficult is it to escape a doll? These things are smaller and barely move. You can't. And if you're taking on the army, you can tell me like a tank can't run it over.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but you have guns. So in part 9, they took on the army.
They took on the army, but they do understand well, because when he asks, because Blade was following everything. So Danny goes, "So where's Tunneler now, Blade?" And Blade does the Nazi salute to tell him where he is. And I'm like,
and he knew exactly. Yeah, they're communicating. But okay, so I know you mentioned telepathically. Is that really how they communicate, or you're just assuming that's?
No, that's what I read. No,
okay,
whoever
you read
the Puppet Master is, like, can telepathically talk to him. But he says a line right after this that made me scream, because when they got a knock at the door, what is the first thing he says to them? Not a peep out of you guys. They don't talk. How can you tell somebody not to peep if they don't talk? That's
like telling, like, again, a mute, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Or when I think it was a Naked Gun. I think when he had that fat guy in the wheelchair, he goes, "Don't get up."
Yeah. Yes. No, exactly. When he said that, I'm like, what the hell? And then you had the 2 suits. They bust in the house. Oh, then we get another. That's when we get like another set. That set that was like, I don't know what that. There's like so many things in this movie that I feel like they were like writing it as they went along and forgot about things, because I have to mention it now, because not that I'm going to forget. So when he meets with the military guy, I don't know what his name. I'll just make Major Collins. They were all like the generic names that they brought up. So it was like he's meeting with this guy, and in this room, this is where we meet Sarge, who's like the hero, like best part of the movie. And this is when he says, like, "You won this honor." Oh no! How about that? Oh my God!
Sarge has done 9 tours or 7 tours. They said so. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have you babysit this couple. like what? That was the way to get Sarge involved. That was the only way to get him involved. So, and it's funny. This guy who when they're in their office, he reminded me of American Ninja guy that sent in that the guy, the guy with the wearing Hawaiian shirt that basically what is ninja? Yeah.
What is ninja?
Yeah. He reminded me of him. Like, he just like clueless with his job, but he's in the military, so they throw him behind a desk.
Oh, do you mean the line he says, "Don't mind me, I don't do good in an office"?
This one, I did write down one line. He says, "Only action this old dog gets is shooting a pencil across his desk." What does that mean?
But my favorite part of that whole scene is when they're trying to find out what actually happened, and they don't really spill the beans. But then they say, like, so General Thomas is coming to visit, and he's getting all the people that were heroes and together. And then, like, just before he leaves, he goes, "And you're going to be there too." So I'm like, okay, what did you think when he said that? A big party, right? And what did we get? We saw half of a room. It was a tiny room. It was like smaller than a classroom.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, like you said, there was 3 sets. I wonder if it was like, I feel like this movie was almost like a sitcom that you would watch live, and how they rotate the sets around. That's what it looked like, because there's really, like, Even when they're fighting outside, it looked like such a small little set. Going into the secret lair, small little set. Like it, I'd be curious to see, because I feel like it was just like 4 different rooms, and they just worked around each room.
Yeah, they made him look like 8 because they just moved the camera to the other side and like did different, like 100%. That's probably what they do.
Yeah.
That's how these movies like can make money, because they shoot them within a week on a shoestring budget.
Yep.
So this is where we get the lab. So we talked about the doctor, the way he shows up. And I love that he puts on his white coat and he's looking at a chalkboard that's full of like generic formulas. I always think that's so funny. I think even like when a real scientist is working and you see like this chalkboard full of formulas, like you really know which one you wrote first or what order they all go in. Like nobody knows that. Oh, I wrote that one on Tuesday, that one on Wednesday. Okay, this is the way it's supposed to go.
Of course.
He had this full board of everything. He's just staring at it.
And what is the purpose of the white lab coat?
Yeah, you wouldn't want white, right?
No, it's going to stain. And it's always, the white lab coats are never stained. They always look so clean, but every scientist always wears a white lab coat.
That makes no sense. Why? Yeah, wouldn't you want to not?
Yeah, wouldn't you want to like have a black lab coat or something dark that you spill something on it, you're not going to really see.
Yeah, you have to wash it. You have to wash this one every day.
You know what? Yeah, I guess.
Cleaning bills, man.
He wasn't. I mean, he didn't have any beakers or anything. He didn't have any test tubes.
He did not.
All he had his dolls. He had a big
and he had the vial. He did have a vial, and he was cooking something for a little bit.
But he also all he has is the looks like a teleport machine. But
my god, that looks like it's made out of cardboard.
But it's huge, so he has that. But like, it's a very bizarre lab that he works in.
Yeah, and I love that he talks to whatever, like the puppets that are sitting there. He says, "Hello, my friends. Hello, my family."
Okay,
I think my I was
gonna say one more thing. The German lady, when they did, when the Chinese guy comes out of, or the Asian guy comes out of the machine, she seemed turned on. Like she was like licking her lips and like she was like staring at him, like she was into the zombie. Like she was into the dead, which is probably why she likes a scientist, because he looks like
so now my stomach can handle it. We're like half an hour in. I think my stomach's feeling better. Had a bug for Thanksgiving, but I could talk about it now.
Okay.
So the first thing that she says to him, she's like, why do we get this so much in these movies that like these women are like really bitches to these guys about like, yeah, you couldn't get with me, because her first line says, "You think you can get with someone like me?" And I'm like, why would that even be in your mind or his mind? He's not thinking about it. But
how do you know he's not thinking about it?
No, because he wants to see his family. Maybe his family's not his wife. I want to see everybody with my wife.
His family are the puppets that he's making in the back room.
Oh,
because he's very into the puppets. I mean, clearly when he makes the female puppet, he's into her. So I bet you.
Well, it's her.
Right. But that's what I mean. So I bet you his family, because they don't mention his wife or kids. You know, I bet you his family is his puppets in the back room. He's like Geppetto.
He is Geppetto. And then I thought like that line was going to be like, I thought this whole thing was just going to be like, oh, they want him to get results. We'll motivate him with sex, right? The German girl flirt with him, give me what I want. And then when it comes time, when you produce the results, you don't get anything. And like he's crying. Then she kisses his ear.
Oh,
like right after this.
And this guy, how you think, what is he? Like in his late 70s, 80s? Like he's old.
He kind of looks like the neighbor from The Burbs.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He gives like those vibes. But no, and at this point I'm like, oh, this is gross. I never even thought of uttering the line in my head of couldn't get any grosser.
Oh, it can.
it because it does. It does. Oh my gosh.
So when you're like an actress and you have to like do a scene like that, how hard is it to do that? Like I know, like, you know, sometimes you have to act and do extreme things, but to me, that's pretty extreme. I mean, if I have to make out with an 80-year-old woman as an actor, that's gonna be rough. Unless it's Betty White. Betty White,
not for nothing.
What?
Not for nothing. There's some 80. Well, what Sophia Loren at like 80 was.
She's not 80. Is she 80?
Sophia Loren? She's got to be 80 by now.
I don't know, but you think so? Okay. All right. But this guy is no Fabio. Okay. So we're talking about, like an average.
Fabio's your level. That's your level of.
That's everybody's level. Listen, we got to bring him back because I remember in one of our podcasts we totally bashed Fabio. So one of our early podcasts. So
I'm trying to think of what it was. I think I can't believe it's not butter ad is what I put in the clip, but I don't remember how we started talking about him. Oh, because he looked like Station in Bogus Journey. The same nose.
And I think we went on a little rant. So I want to get him back I know he used to listen to us, so I want to bring him back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
Fabio just smiled.
Yes. So we're talking about the average old person. We're not talking about Sophia Loren. We're not talking about Clint Eastwood. We're talking about the average, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be like, I feel like that if you have to make out with an average grandma, you're gonna remember that. It's not like something you could just erase from your mind. I feel like that's always gonna be there.
Do you think they gave her the script and they were like, yeah, this is your role. You got it. You nailed it. Just do me a favor. Don't read page 7 or 42.
Or
disregard them.
No, I bet you what she's going through the script and they're like, why are these pages missing? Oh, no, we didn't finish writing that scene yet. Don't worry.
Okay, rolling in 3, 2, 1. Kiss the old guy. What?
Ugh.
Just kiss him.
That was so gross.
Ugh. I mean, I did write the tunneler. When you look at him, he look like Telly Savalas. I don't know why you look like him, but yeah. So again, the lines that I'm telling you, if there was a pull string doll of Sarge, I'd buy it. He says, "Come on, Major, you got to be jerking my bopper." When he says when he says you have to babysit Danny and Beth, and then when they're smiling, for some reason they're like giggling about it. He says, wipe those turning smirks off your face.
His one-liners, half of them doesn't make sense. Like some of the words it throws in there, but they were so funny. Like
no sense at all.
But again, you're 100% right. He was like a caveman though, because even like when they want him to wear a suit, like he looked like he just like he knows one way. It's like the grunt, military grunt, and that's it. Anything else out of that, he doesn't know how to handle. Life.
Yeah, he can't.
You can't.
He couldn't like live on his own. If there was no like 3 square meals a day, he'd be dead.
I don't know. He looks like a guy that would eat nails. He's
he would have been interesting if somehow he turned into a puppet. Because like you said, he looked like one.
He would. And you know what? He had a drawstring in the back. See, that would be funny.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, like, I feel like they definitely made him very like cartoony and it worked for him, but I wonder if they I mean, I don't know when this movie came out, but if they ever used like his mold, or if they copied Street Fighter or again Toy Soldiers, or what's the movie again?
Small Soldiers.
So I because he looked exactly like that doll. So I wonder what came in first. What came out first?
No, Small Soldiers from like 1994 or 95.
So when does this come out?
2011.
Oh, they're still making these that late, and like I thought like they were done in like in the 90s. I thought they just came out like once a year.
Of these movies?
Yeah, I can't believe they're still making this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, this is 2011.
What is wrong with you people that like this movie?
That's what I was saying about like personally, like when you watch some like straight to DVD or straight to streaming movies, like you look at it and you're like, God, it just looks cheap. Even though it looks great visually and like sound are the things that you pick up like right away. And then sometimes like weird dialogue and stuff you can like put off, or bad special effects. But like looking at the way this movie was shot, I'm like, if there was like good people in it, like, I don't know if they're like not to bash like that Danny guy, but if there was somebody else that like could have scenes with Sarge, I'm not saying it would make the movie better. I would just love to have seen somebody that was on Sarge's level, because he was like really going for it, and you could tell like with his lines, he was really delivering them. He
was, but I again, I don't think people are watching this movie for the actors. They're looking for the puppets, and I bet you, because the budget looks very cheap outside of, you said, the way the movie looks, they probably invested most of their money into the look and nothing else. Because again, the puppets don't move, nothing, like there's only 4 sets. So their budget is probably, all into how the movie looks itself. And that's probably why it looks so good because of that.
Yeah, and they've had the puppets since '87, so they're not building new ones.
Okay, again, look at even Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Like, look at the difference to tomatoes compared to like the original one. Like, they get better. Even Ghoulies or whatever, they couldn't improve a little bit on the puppets at all. Like,
talk. That's all I wanted. Words.
I mean, all right. And so this movie came out after Small Soldiers. Way after, you said.
Way after, yeah.
Look how good that movie is. Like,
I know.
They couldn't do something like that. This is way after. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'd rather see cartoon. I would rather see cartoon puppets than what we had in this movie.
You just put it, cartoon Puppetmaster coming this fall.
Okay.
So then we get the hot blonde Nazi in bra and panties with Heinrich, and somehow he's ignoring. She says, "You're ignoring me," and I'm like, I don't know how he's ignoring anyway. And how about the stuff that he believes in? Like his mind with the weird, like he's talking about like the undead, and then we have Hitler behind him, and then when he's saying that weird speech, we're getting like old German war music underneath. Like
this was as much as it was cool to see her like that.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long scene. Like to
way
me,
too long.
It was way too long. And again, I feel like they were acting in their funny way or however they wanted to handle it, and they were trying, but it was just way too long. And it was just too much filler. But what's their relationship? Like, I don't know. Like, are they married? Are they dating? But also, why are there only 2 Nazis? Where's the rest of the army? They don't have any other soldiers. I mean, I know they might have 2 that I think later on in the movie. That's it. Like, I feel like they're just rogue. There's just them 2, and and the 2 other soldiers that went and that picked up drill or what's it, pile driver, tunneler. So they. But that's it. Like, there's no other. I mean, he has a pretty sophisticated hideout. Where's the rest of his men?
Maybe because it's so sophisticated, they don't want too many people pressing on that brick. No, but you're right. Like, there's not a lot of people, and obviously, it's like a secret mission that, like, he says Hitler doesn't believe in, and he's going to show him a thing or two, and this actually works, and his undead army is helping Germany like take over America. Oh, and true, they're in America, so they're sort of like hiding out. So maybe that's why they're.
But you would think there would be more. Or I just thought of this. Maybe he just killed them all, testing on them all, and there's no one left.
Yeah,
and the last guy that tested on was the janitor. The last guy was because he wasn't in uniform. So,
yeah. And then finally, she's like annoyed with him, and then she's turned on. She's biting her lip, and then they start like they're about to get it on, and then there's a knock at the door, and it's a guy with a note, and then. I forgot where this was because we didn't see Danny's room in a while. But then it's like, oh my God, this is America, because it's a note that says General Porter will be in town. So you're like, okay, cool. This is it.
Yeah. No.
This is what's happening.
Now, she kissed the old man already? Or was
no,
after this? Well, okay, right. So maybe she was angry because the guy was not paying attention to her. And she's like, I'm going to make him jealous and kiss the old man, because they do get caught, right? Like they get caught. He walks in.
Yeah.
But would you get jealous if she's kissing? Yes, I mean, kissing, someone, you're going to get jealous, but like kissing an old man, like, I don't know if I would be jealous of that. Like, you really want to do that? That's your choice of jealousy?
Yeah, no. So we can talk about the full scene right now. So at that point, when I thought, like I mentioned before, I thought it was one of those, we really want this undead thing to work, the reanimating the dead bodies, and her flirting with him and maybe make him work harder. But then when she's fully like making out with him and he's kissing her back, and then the commandant walks in, Heinrich, and sees it, and I'm thinking in my head, he's going to fake be angry and it's all part of some scheme they have.
Right.
And just as the audience, they don't let us in on it. No, she points a gun at him. And he goes, please don't shoot me. And he says, don't worry. And he shoots her. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, This is insane. So she was doing this under her own free will. Like she was like making a conscious decision to make out with an 80-year-old.
But I think it's to make him jealous. And he was jealous and he killed
why
her.
would she couldn't like kiss one of the Nazi soldiers?
Well, I was thinking that too. So if she, well, I mean, you know, she's a Nazi. Nazis aren't that smart.
Maybe she hooked up with all of them already.
Well, there's only 2 left. They killed them all.
That's it.
So that was a little shocking. I was surprised, but okay. So when he does that, I'm thinking like, all right, you know what? She's gonna be the first soldier. She's gonna. So like, you know, they're not gonna end her role right now. It basically ends within the next 5 minutes.
I know when I thought that was the motivation. He maybe so if we would have saw a little bit more of like Heinrich, so the opposite, like when she did get shot, then I thought in my head, like, you know what, if Heinrich like saw them flirting with each other, and maybe if he wasn't 80, then it'd be easier. If he was like a 40-year-old guy, then it'd be more believable than he goes, oh, I'm gonna kill her. If you want to be with her, you have to figure out to reanimate. Then you think, oh, this is what he's gonna do. He's doing the potions, doing everything. Puts the violin, see you soon. But I think he says, I'll see you in a little bit, my love.
Yeah.
And we see her a little bit, and then her face melts.
And that's it. Done.
That's it.
I was surprised that they didn't like keep her, because obviously no one wants to see this anyone else. They want to see her, you know. So
and the fact that I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe those other puppets like Blade and Pinhead, maybe they weren't actually like had real people involved in them. So I was like, maybe this like a unique process, because I don't know how they made them in the first one. I really don't. I have zero interest in finding out. Really? But I was thinking she's gonna talk.
Yeah.
She's gonna talk. She'll be the one that talks.
Right.
Nope. Nothing.
And they don't really. I mean, again, maybe the doctor's in the previous movie, but like, why does this Nazi think that the doctor can bring the dead to life?
No clue.
They don't explain any of that. So I wonder, like, you know, and how long has he been working on this project that keeps failing? Like, how many tries are you going to give this guy?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, does he have a background in doing this? Because it seems like you're going to kidnap. I don't think that was something that people casually do.
No, and
it seems like he was working on something else and like took him to.
And I'm assuming, considering this is the plot to this movie, it's not involved in any other movie. So in the other movies, they're not trying to make zombie soldiers, because then what's the point of this plot if he's trying to do it now? So what's the doctor's background that he thinks that this guy can make zombie soldiers if there's, I'm assuming, no zombie soldiers in the other movies?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. The other movies really have to be the normal unsuspecting teens, families are getting killed by these puppets. Because if not, well, how is it a horror movie?
I hate to say this. This, but we may have to find someone for part 9 to figure out what the heck's going on in this movie.
Go backwards and then 8 and then
no. It's not that crazy. Year. Just one more, maybe one more,
maybe one more. But yeah, so that just made no sense to me that we didn't get anything from it.
Nothing.
Like, she gets shot and you thought that'd be motivation for the old guy. No, you still can't figure it out.
No, and that seems to end the project. Once she gets shot and her face melts, the project that this old man's been working on is done. Because now he's focusing on his family, the dolls.
His dolls. So I have a question for you. Ready? Okay. When it comes to her puppet, $1 million question.
Okay.
So she's like a fembot from Austin Powers, right?
100%.
Same thing. Where do they put the bullets?
Well, I would assume they go through the back, but
okay.
She seems to have an unlimited amount of bullets.
That's true. And how tiny are these bullets?
They're like baby BBs.
So how can people die from them?
Well, there's a lot of them. She's shooting a lot at once. Well, does anyone really die? Does anyone die from these?
Well, yeah, no, the one guy does die. One of the guys in the military at that, what we thought was a big celebration, and it ended up just being one celebration. But when she shoots Pinhead,
yeah,
he's fine afterwards.
Well, he is a doll.
I guess that is true. Yeah, but you patch him up.
Okay, but you wait. So you want to know? Okay, so you want to know where they're putting the bullets, and again, how many bullets does she have? when you have another doll that's Leech Woman that apparently has unlimited amount of leeches that come out of her mouth, even though she's...
we only saw one. We only saw one, right? Maybe she loads one a day? Or whatever. Once she expels the one, she picks it up and gets another one? I don't know.
Wait, you think she uses the same leech each time?
Maybe it's her friend?
And if it's a leech, wouldn't a leech, like, if she has the leeches inside, doesn't it, like, wouldn't a leech eat her? Well, she's a doll, so I guess it's...
She's a doll. And didn't she use the leech on Bombshell, which is another doll? So would that have done anything?
Yeah. And why would she have real leeches inside of her? Like, how is a leech...
thought of that idea in this movie?
Because how would a leech survive inside of her? Leech is a living thing, so how is it surviving? Because she, again, like you said, she only did one of them. So, like, do you think it's like, someone who's like shoots a bow and arrow, they can go back and pick up the arrow and throw, back in the back in the case? So as soon as she uses a leech, she throws it back, she swallows it again and uses the same leech over and over again? What?
God, I would love to have been in the writing room for that. Like, okay, Blade. He's got a blade. Yeah, great idea. Right, let's write it down. How about this really big guy? He's jacked, small head, pinhead. Love it. Let's go. Let's keep it going. This guy has like a drill bit on his head. Tunneler. Love it. That's great. Jester. Oh, who doesn't love jokers? Yeah, let's do that. How about Leech Woman? Wait, you ruined the flow, Frank. What do you mean Leech Woman? It's a woman. She spits leeches out. And it's like, we'll put it on the board, but we won't use it. And then somehow it made it into the movie.
It's probably the same Frank that was in Gremlins who made Vegetable Gremlin. Okay. So, I mean, like, it seems like every movie has that one thing that you would never guess. And somehow that's the one that makes it.
I can't believe that.
He's probably the son of the director.
Really...
He's like, listen, my son had, one idea. We got to put it in a movie somehow, so. All right.
Anything else? Leech Woman. And the way he said that, like, just the way Danny would say it, be like, I know where you're thinking, Leech Woman. I know, but you have to stay here. Sometimes people have to stay behind.
I was so confused why I kept calling her that until it happened. But okay, so it's a puppet. I would be happier if, like, maybe she spits out nails. Shoots nails in her mouth. Yes. Or just okay, but again, it's a puppet. So I can see that a little bit better. Maybe she shoots out like string. Because a marionette, I don't know, a string woman, but leeches, like, again, like that would be like the last thing I would ever think of to come out of her mouth.
Yeah,
like, it's just weird. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right.
So now we get Sarge is at the house with Danny and Beth. Another great line. He says, "I don't want to be here. Foxholes and sticky bombs are my thing, not babysitting." And then he tells her, it'd be great, honey, if you could rustle us up some grub.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have a way of speaking to women in this movie. He's so degrading. And by the way, I wrote down, I think it was like 45 minutes in when she gets shot in the face, the Nazi woman, and we barely saw any puppets. 45 minutes into the movie.
Oh, I know. No, yeah. It was really just reaction shots of puppets. That's all we have. Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
So then Sarge is eating like a slob. And then we find out again, I don't know if Sarge is in the previous movie or what they talk about in the beginning, or every time they talk about like when Danny and Beth like beat the Nazis and the Japanese. Did that really happen like in a movie, or is that just like a story to bridge the movies? I have no idea. But
I'm gonna say Sarge was not in the other movie because he had no clue about dolls or Andy or them. So I don't think he was involved.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, Andy. Are you talking about Andy? Or are you like Chucky?
What's his name?
Well, Danny.
Andy, Danny, the same thing. It's like Ryan, Brian. It's
Ryan,
I mean,
Brian.
It's the same exact thing. I'm so bad.
But no. So I know you are. So then, what's that movie with the little army guys?
Tiny little soldiers, tiny shoulders, soldiers,
small soldiers.
And the best part is like this is not a bit. It's not like I'm not like trying to be funny. I really like when I say these names. It's what it comes to my mind right away. I don't think of it. So
oh god, amazing! But then we find out some weird tidbit that Danny's brother was in the military. And he knew Sarge really well.
I'll say it's kind of important. They just spring it now. Like, you know what? It would have been cool. Maybe his brother came back and helped.
Well, his brother's dead. It would have been cool.
Oh, they're talking.
Really? That's what
he became a doll. That would have been something.
Oh, if he was one of the dolls?
Yeah, if he was one of the dolls. I mean, clearly you can make a doll out of a human because the doctor shows it. So if this guy's really the puppet master that can talk to puppets through his mind, he can't create puppets?
With his mind? Yeah, I guess that would.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know the whole rules of being a puppet master. Like, are you only a puppet master to the puppets that are near you? Can you be a puppet master to any puppet?
Oh, so you're telling me he goes to a department store, he can make him do whatever he wants?
I don't know. I don't know the rules of puppet masters.
That'd be a lot. That'd be like such a burden.
Yeah, but if you're considered a master, I would think that you could make puppets out of anything.
All puppets.
Okay. So you have these He-Man monsters as puppets. You're gonna tell me Pinocchio, if he was around there, he can't make that. Well, we already said Pinocchio. You said Pinocchio's not a puppet, right?
He's a marionette, isn't he?
Yes. So you're gonna tell me the puppet master can't make if he was in this movie, if somehow Pinocchio's in this movie, you don't think he would be considered a puppet?
Yeah. Well, in this movie, yes, he would be a puppet.
Well,
anything's
okay. Excuse me. This movie's called Puppet Master, so I think they know what they're talking about.
Do they?
Well, actually, no. Yeah, they don't know how to write a movie. That's true.
But yeah, so from that reveal that Sarge knew Danny's brother, like Sarge kind of gets jacked up and he says, "Oh, he talked about you all the time." Like, "Oh yeah." And then he says to Danny, he goes, "You know what? Let's settle the score. I can watch you two and still plug a bunch of Nazis with one hand behind my back."
But it's funny. When he said that, I was dying. That was a funny.
Yeah,
but
great lines, like truly funny.
If he talked about him all the time, why did he act like he never seen them before or didn't know who they were when he first met them?
Yeah, I don't know. He mentioned his brother's name around the dinner table. And then that's when Sarge, oh no, you know what? That's not true at all. Sarge actually brought that up. So I don't think Sarge knew about it until when they were in that interrogation room. Maybe he put like the two names together. When he brought it up, he says, "Oh, Danny actually knew your brother." And I was like, "Really?" Because he was kind of shocked. So that's how that like whole conversation went. Right. But yeah, I wrote a note too. I wrote, again, 40 minutes in and we're finally seeing the puppets again, because this is when Danny introduces Sarge to the gang, and this is he's speechless. He doesn't know what to say.
Sarge to the gang. I really, and again, I hate saying this, but I really want to know the backstory to these puppets. I want to know, did they start off as being bad? Like, was the first movie a horror movie that they killed?
Yeah, they're
bad.
Yeah.
So what was the turnaround? What made them good? Egan.
Exactly. That's what I was saying before. Was
Egan.
It 8? Yeah, we need Egan to help us to figure it out.
But they got bored of killing, so they decided, you know what? Let's just try the good side. It's like WWF with the Hulk Hogan. He was good for so long, and then he became, NWO.
They turned, yeah. They were like, you know what? We're bad, but we're not going to be Nazis around. We're going to kill those Nazis. We'll be good. Just for the Nazi ones, we'll be good.
Okay. All right.
But another thing that I thought was going to be something, but it wasn't? How about when the puppets were talking to Sarge and Sarge was kind of speechless, and they finally said like, "All right, fine." And they were getting ready to collect the toys. And then you saw Blade. Well, they didn't really move it, but like the puppets opened up that music box, right?
Yep.
And it started playing music.
It was a theme song to the movie.
Okay. Yeah. Right. But what was the point?
Yeah. What was the point of that? But why would they have the theme song to the movie?
They like it a lot. No, but I was thinking that meant something, right? I thought something was gonna happen, or no, they just opened the music because they were in the middle of Danny speaking. Kind of rude.
Oh, maybe they're bored, and then they figured, you know what? Not for nothing. They weren't being used. Like, these puppets wanted. What's the purpose of what is their goal? What's the puppet's goal outside of maybe getting drill back? What's the puppet's goal?
To please their master. That's what I would think. So I don't think they have any individual goal. But no, like you said, when they were playing the music, it was like playing somebody off at the Oscars. They're like, all right, this guy's boring. I would like to think.
Do you think, as the puppet master, if he was like a Dark Helmet, playing with dolls, do you think would the dolls allow that? Like, if you wanted to play with them, can you play with these puppets?
I guess that everything's on the table. Leech Woman, hi, help me. Pinhead, save
Well,
me.
consider they don't talk, they need a voice anyway, so you might as well,
I think, it would be I'm not saying it'd be a good movie, but I wonder if they ever did it in one of them, in the million that they've made. It'd be great if they had one that somebody was Don the Puppet Master, however that happens, and they didn't want to do it. And like, they're just, the whole movie is them running away, like going on airplanes, boats, and the puppets are following every time they like it'd be like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. They're like, oh man, I got away. And then I know the puppets are like right next to him on the train or something.
Oh man. Don't give them any ideas. Or
probably they're writing right now.
Listen, they've made how many Chuckies? They should have thrown Chuckies with the Puppet Master. Is Chucky considered a puppet?
He's a doll.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's where you cross the line.
I would say these are dolls more than puppets.
The movie's called Puppet Master.
I know, but
I agree. They are dolls. They're He-Man dolls. They're like He-Man toys. So, but if these are the same puppets from the first movie, they consider them puppets.
Talking pony, it's a horse.
Okay, but they made one movie like that. They made 10. You think so? Even if so you're thinking, all right, they made a mistake in the first movie. They're not really puppets. So whoever wrote it down, you think they would figure that out by the second or third movie? Why keep running with it? Like if we're talking pony, if they made 10 of them, you would hope that at one point they're gonna have a pony in the movie. So like I would think that they would figure out the fault that they did, and they just kept running with it.
They ran with, I can't, 10 of these movies.
How can you, but you think about it, how can you really have a puppet though that's like alive? Because if without your hand up there, there's nothing, it's not going to work.
That's true. Yeah, just like if they're actually like in it, like somehow whatever special power that I don't know.
Okay, all right. By the way, I think
get like a really gross like Mannequin 2 callback in this when he kisses Bombshell. The Freihofer kisses. Ugh.
But that's what I mean. That's why I think if he kisses that doll, his family, I would think that are the other puppets he's making, because they don't go back to the dolls that he's making except for Kamikaze, right? That's the only one he makes. So like, why is he making
that one at great detail?
That was the best one. I mean, the other one with the 6 arms, ridiculous.
That was that was my favorite one. And that one, I don't know if that was a callback to the other movies. I'm sure it was, just the way they showed us as the audience, just the head. And then it, like, for somebody that was a diehard fan, they're like, "Hey, that's the guy from 4."
But where was he the whole? I didn't understand that part either. Like, where was he this whole time? He
was like a head in a box or something. I don't know.
Why?
I have no idea. Was that maybe why they were playing the music, but they never like mentioned it? I have no idea.
But so that's my point. So like he wasn't around. So obviously that puppet wasn't around. So he also all of a sudden became alive. So can the puppet master make any toy, like any doll, come alive?
I don't know. I would think it would make sense if you have that power to telepathically talk to dolls, but maybe it's only special doll. Maybe they have to be like registered Puppet Master dolls.
Okay. All right.
In order to get them in. I mean, I did like 6-Shooter. I really like the way his look was really cool. It reminded me of like a bad guy in an old spaghetti western.
It was, but the problem with 6-Shooter is I felt like you had someone off screen that had a string on one set of 3 arms and a string on the other 3 arms. So when he raised one arm, all 3 arms went up the same time, and when he raised one, all 3, like it was so like everything. To me, Kamikaze was the only animated one they had, I feel.
But it was insanely racist.
It's not even the word. Like, it was really bad.
It was terrible.
All right.
Oh man. So the next scene is when we get like them doing their recon in like the alleyway that we've seen so many times. But one line that was funny was Fraunhofer is begging Heinrich. He goes, I vow not to fail you. And he goes, it doesn't have the power to help a grown person yet. So that's his pitch to be like, let's use the dolls. And what does Heinrich say? What do you suggest? An army of youth? Oh my gosh. But this scene was, again, I think this is a testament to them not having a lot of places to shoot.
Oh, easily.
Because when they're shooting in that alleyway and they're getting shot at by the Germans and they take a few of them out, and then when right above them, which if you not saying to watch it again, but that gate, that gap in like the warehouse, which was right there, was there the whole time, and then Bombshell shows up in that spot 5 feet away.
Yeah.
And then starts firing and then shoots Pinhead.
It was was it like a window or something? Like, was she on a, I
have no idea what it was.
And like I said, like she's shooting a machine gun, which is missing left and right. But
yes,
you're right. How big are those bullets? They have to be so small, like
tiny.
Tiny. All right,
oh.
Ridiculous.
But I did like Blitzkrieg, and Wehrmacht was cool. The werewolf one, that was pretty cool.
So that was one of the toys that he made. The scientist?
He made those two, yeah.
Yeah. So like, why was he working on those in the first place?
I don't know. I think once he figured out that he could use that like reanimation stuff. Okay. So is that how the other ones are made? I have no idea.
Okay. So once he realized he could bring it to life, fine. But all this time he didn't know he could bring them to life. So what was he making the puppets for? Just for himself? To play with? Like,
yeah.
Because I mean, there's no reason why he would maybe make puppets if he didn't know how to bring them to life.
No, because he had no clue about it at all until he saw a tunneler.
Right.
Then he had an idea when he said, "Oh, this killed one of the soldiers," and he's like, "Whoa."
Right. Okay.
And then he like opened him up again, and then we never really saw Tunneler for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
You thought like Tunneler was gonna like maybe be the hero at the end, but no, it was Six Shooter was like the real hero.
Which, and I know again we're going to be jumping around, but which made no sense because they had a chance to have Danny.
Danny, yeah.
Okay, all right. So we had a chance for Danny to be the hero because and he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing this whole movie. It was Six Shooter, and that's it. Like because Danny was stepping up to the Nazi, like he was standing up to him, and he did nothing.
I think Beth knocked more people. She knocked the Nazi out.
She did. But
so did Sarge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you expect Sarge to do it.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
So then we get the party that I mentioned that General Porter arrived and he's getting followed by Blitzkrieg. And I thought in my head, I'm like, oh, he's going to kill him right now. No, he's just doing recon because he turns around like right away. And so this whole, oh my God. How about Sarge being a peeper? He peeps on them kissing and then he like gets caught and walks away. And then Danny brings in his dead brother's suit. And then that's what you said earlier when he was like,
yeah.
One of these things.
Yeah, he was definitely peeping. That was well, you know what? Listen, he's been in the military a long time. He just wanted to see a little action. He saw other action, so this is the kind of action he wanted to see.
This the other, yeah. It's only two kind of action I like in life.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. And then I mentioned earlier, but I still can't believe that what we thought was going to be like I thought it was going to be in a ballroom, like a big speech to all the people that helped against the Germans that were like, I guess, trying to infiltrate in the Japanese. No, it was just a tiny room.
It was a small,
and he was the guest of honor.
Yeah.
Him and Beth.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you have a guy that did 9 tours in the military. Why wasn't he a guest of honor? He
didn't take out, I guess, the entire Germans and Japanese.
Okay, really? Because he did 9 tours during World War II, obviously, because the Nazis are around. What kind of wars were he fighting in?
That's really true. 9 tours? Like, I don't know how long a tour is, because if you're listening and you're in the military,
I don't know either, but I'm assuming a tour is, at least a couple months.
3 months?
Yeah, right. Okay, so if he did 9 of them during World War II, you can tell me he didn't kill a bunch of Nazis and he didn't save anybody?
Yeah, sure.
So he got shafted.
So he's babysitting, not getting a medal.
I mean, not for nothing. Beth and Danny did one night. They did fighting for one night.
That's like a little tour.
That's not even a tour. That's a day trip.
Oh
that's it.
Yeah. It's a day trip. But how about Danny? He goes, I can't take this medal. I don't want this medal. His line delivery. Well, he's probably the nicest guy in the world. His parents probably love him. But Jesus, when he's like, I don't want this. I want a uniform instead. I'm like, What
Well,
is happening?
not for nothing though. You're in this movie. Is your heart really going to be into it?
Well, no, yeah, it is because people start their careers in these movies and they either fall in love with it or they fall out of it. But no, the thing that when it comes to this role is he is being really selfish. Okay, even though he did take them out, really didn't, because he admits to Sarge that these guys were really the heroes, which they are peeping and watching from a window at this point. But they're probably like, shit, where's my medal? Take that medal, Danny, and give it to us. But no, the fact that he knows that he's not fit for military service because of like his leg. But yeah, I want to join the army.
He keeps trying to get into the army though. He knows he's not fit for it, but he keeps trying to go in there. I got news to you. If I'm in the military with him and I'm in a bunker and I need him who has a bum leg, he can barely walk, I'm not going to feel too safe. I feel like I'm not going to...
What if he had the dolls and you didn't know about it? Like, that'd be good. In like Puppetmaster 11, it's actually like in Normandy Beach. They're storming Normandy. Somebody's in a bunker. They're like, Danny, get over here. We need you. And he's like, fire on those. Oh, I don't have a gun. I have my dolls.
I brought the wrong backpack. I was supposed to bring the med kits and I brought the dolls instead.
But Jesus,
listen. You know what? And enough. Listen, I love the military, and if someone gets shot in a bum leg during the war, and those are the bravest people. But Danny does not seem like he's brave. He's hurt. They don't even explain why he's limping, like if he has a bum leg. Why would you want it? Like allow him to be in the military? Because they do. Yeah. Don't they let him go in later on?
Well, no. That right after the scene they do, because how about like the old timey photographer? And he's like, hey, can we get a picture for the paper? And the guy gets there, he's set up, and he snaps the photo, and then Blitzkrieg shoots him. And then I don't know how Blitzkrieg snuck into that room because there's only one door, so I don't know how that happened. And then we get the battle of the century. We get Leech Woman versus Bombshell, Blade versus Werewolf, and Jester versus Kamikaze all fighting.
Why is it called Blitzkrieg?
Oh, like the Blitzkrieg going in, like going crazy, like going in, like, which is kind of kamikaze. They're kind of the same type of word, but Blitzkrieg is the German sense of it.
Yeah.
But I love the only thing, we didn't get them talking. We didn't get much, but we got slapping sound effects.
Slapping, and it was very quick. It wasn't a long fight. Like it wasn't like.
Well, how long can you make two dolls fight each other?
I would rather see 20 minutes of that than 20 minutes of the two Germans talking in their basement. I don't know. I'm watching this movie, never seen a Puppet Master. I want to see more puppets. If I'm gonna sit through this, I want to see more puppets. And I just didn't get enough.
And then from there, that's when Bombshell did kill the one guy. He got shot like from a few feet away. And then I guess they all ran off because they were losing. I guess because right after that, that's when the general was like, Danny, what you did today was a military service. And I think he even says like, I'll see what I can do. Right?
Yeah.
I think he still doesn't even give him the okay. It's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Which is basically saying, okay, yeah, we'll you know, when you're applying for a job, you're like, yeah, you know, we'll keep your resume on file.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll call. Yeah. Or he pulled a you and he said, it was nice meeting you, Andy. It's Danny. Yeah, sure it is.
Okay, Danny.
So then they're back at the house and they're trying to make a plan. And who has the plan? Leech Woman is the one that they're zooming in on longer. I guess.
Wait, hold on. If these puppets are running away and they're tiny, first of all, I would have loved to see a video angle of them running because I think it would have been really funny. But how long? Because they didn't go back with Danny because they ran on their own. How long do you think? How do you think they got to the house?
Like it would take a week.
Do you think they take a cab? Like do you think they're hailing a cab or like how are they getting there? Like it would take them so long to get there.
Or maybe we're being like so like looking at this on a different angle, but maybe there's a whole puppet world, like an underground puppet world we don't know about. Maybe there's puppet taxis, puppet bars. Maybe they like live in the sewer. Like, are these the only puppets in America?
So, like Oscar? Like Oscar has a whole like tunnel
Yeah.
world under his garbage pail. Because I think there was an episode of Sesame Street that showed like
There's a movie called Oscar.
oh
yeah.
maybe and it's
No.
all and what
In Grouchland.
and it's all underneath the garbage pail.
Yeah, and it's a whole world of Grouch people, and they know Oscar. So you're like, wait, so Oscar he lives on Sesame Street, but then he goes down to Grouchland every so often.
Wait, so there's no garbage in his garbage pail? It's basically like it's like a tunnel.
It's a
like,
ladder.
So then what, the garbage men don't put garbage in there?
It looks like it, right? You think that even he grabs it?
So that's just like a window, like he pops out just to see what's going on, and then just goes back to his world.
You know what? So from having my daughter, who's going to be 4, we watch a lot of Sesame Street. There is one that Oscar does. So they actually do because that movie's from like the 90s, late 90s, and actually it's a good. Do you remember that movie, The Grouch?
I don't. I sort of follow that bird with Big Bird that had a lot of cameos
okay.
also, but I didn't remember Grouch.
Grouchland had God, who was the villain in it? Oh, what? And Nino Montoya from
Mandy Patinkin? Mandy Pank.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mandy, yeah. So he plays the villain in the movie. There's a bunch of people. Vanessa Williams is like the queen in some area of Grouchland. But no, anyway, so in one of the episodes of Sesame Street, like a recent one, he goes down and the garbage man comes and takes the trash can. So he has no trash can.
So he can't get back up.
So he sort of can come up. I guess.
Like, can he go to any garbage can? Like, if they take his garbage can that he's always in, can he just pop up in another garbage can?
Is it like plumbing? I would think so.
like
right?
yeah,
It
like
should be
Mario
a whole
Brothers
tunneling system.
And
Yeah.
and since you seem like an expert on Sesame Street,
I am.
if he's so miserable in Sesame Street and he has this whole Grouch land below him, why does he keep coming back to Sesame Street?
I know. If they're all miserable down there, why doesn't he just like be with the miserable? I have no idea.
Okay. Or unless he just wants to make everybody else miserable. So
I think that's what it is. Maybe that's what maybe there's like a Grouch in every like little land, and that's their goal is to just piss people off.
All right. Well, thank you.
He does a pretty good job of it.
Okay. I got news for you. I have a feeling I'd like this Sesame Street talk has been more interesting than the Puppetmaster talk we've been doing.
But no, this is when Leech Woman has the plan of the 6-shooter. She reveals like the head, which is like this big, like we talked about, like an old spaghetti western, like bad guy. And so and you're like, I don't even know what this could be.
Okay. So that's her big plan. Why was she keeping this? So clearly they can make this puppet alive. So why is she like now? Why are the puppets allowing him not to be alive? Like they knew, clearly they knew that they had the head right there, which is I don't understand why the head was separated from the body in the first place. But
maybe it was in timeout.
But why
maybe he did something wrong?
So the only way to stop these puppets is take their head off, and then they
take their heads off. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Maybe that's the rules for the puppets. Maybe I don't know, but all I know is this movie, the end of this movie, which was good for us, but it like ended really quick because from that point when she had the plan, we saw Heinrich again yelling at the doctor saying, I want to resurrect people. And then boom, my next note is like, oh, so now we have 6-shooters like Goro from Mortal Kombat with guns. And then I get the line that we talked about many times already. Leech Woman spits leeches into a man's mouth.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
So that's what it was. It wasn't Bombshell's mouth. It was just this German Nazi's mouth.
You know what?
Right now.
You're right, which means that she's not reusing the same leech.
Well, we don't know. Maybe she picked this one out of the guy's mouth off camera.
Or she waited for him to go to the bathroom and the leech comes out.
Well, I think he'd be dead.
Well,
he's going to the bathroom.
Well, it's still, no, the leech, just because he's dead, leech can't tunnel his way out and come the next way out would be, like he's pooping.
Well, I don't think you're going to poop it. Well, when you die, you.
No,
poop,
not
but...
the man, but I'm saying the leech finds his way out. He tunnels all the way through and comes out the other end. and so if the mad scientist was so miserable there and being held against his will, instead of using these puppets to fight the good guys that are trying to take down the Nazi, why didn't he use his puppets to attack the Nazi?
Exactly. He could have used them. Yeah, he could have used their power.
Right.
Like and told them.
Well, he
obviously
controlled them.
Yeah. He could have got. There was 4 of them there. 3 of them now with the German girl getting murdered.
Right.
He could have been like, "I love you, bombshell. Shoot Heinrich."
And
she would have done it.
Couldn't these puppets communicate with each other and say, "Hey, listen, we're all on the same team. Let's go after the Nazi.
We're all puppets.
We're all puppets." But then I question, because obviously, they're hinting that the mad scientist is going to be in a future movie. So, maybe he wasn't held against his will.
Yeah,
because he does come and go as he pleases.
He does. No,
he
really
check.
does.
He does the time clock and he leaves.
Yeah, hits his brick and that's how he leaves. But then we get 6-shooter. He's a hero. He saves Leech Woman. But then we get Sarge. That's sad. Yeah.
He went out a hero.
He did. Oh yeah.
So,
and he had a line. He went out with a line, right?
Wow.
He said, "Make me a promise, son. Give him hell, soldier."
That was his promise. That of all the last lines of Sarge, that's what he comes up. I would have expected something funnier from Sarge. Like, of all he's had so many lines throughout the whole movie. I would have at least throwing a funny word in that, because all his lines made no sense. I would have liked something a little better from him.
"Hey kid, don't jerk your bopper. Kill me a Nazi."
Something like that.
Oh my God. And then how about Blade? Even his kill, we didn't see any actual kills. Obviously we saw the guy sitting there, but the blade, the knife was probably already bloody, and then they lifted it from behind the head to show that it was bloody. But I love that the line that, because Blade was the hero in this movie, he had the final kill, but Danny has the line, "You forgot one thing, never screw with America," and then Blade knifes him from behind.
And that's what I mean. So that was the moment for Danny to shine. He couldn't get in the military. He's, it's kind of a wimp the whole movie. Why didn't he get the last kill? It should have been him. And no, it was Blade. That was Danny's only chance. Why is that girl with him? Because she's not ugly. She's not ugly. And,
no, she's super attractive. I don't know why she's with.
Yeah, why is she with
feels
Danny?
Bad for him. She probably grew up with him. He was the kid that people picked on. She had a soft spot for him.
So she gets married to him?
Oh, well, they're not going to get married yet because Sarge heard the whole plan.
Oh.
They were talking about when they were going to get hitched or something.
That's
he even
right.
asked about the wedding and stuff. Yeah. And then Freihofer turns on Heinrich and has Kamikaze blow up the lab. And then, dude, we get a CGI explosion that's so bad. And then what do we get afterwards when they're all tunneling out? There's just smoke. Not much smoke from a fog machine. And everybody's just going.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it would have been cool if we lost one of the good puppets. Just to go down as a hero.
Which one would you want to have died?
Jester. What did Jester do the whole movie? Outside of spinning his head? Again, they all have some kind of strength to them. Now you're adding 6-shooter there. What's the purpose of Jester?
I got the perfect scene. So Jester dies. Credits start rolling. End credit scene. Mid-credit scene. A funeral. And what they're doing is Jester's in a coffin. And we keep showing somebody up there they're not speaking, just the head's moving a little bit, and then cut to the audience. Leech Woman's crying. Blade has a Kleenex on the end of his knife, and then that's how Jester goes out. But no, he did nothing.
What if Blade takes off his mask, and it was like a Scooby-Doo thing? He was Jester the whole time.
Whoa. Oh my God. And then the final part of the movie, they let the doctor leave because again, they bought his story, which I sort of did until you mentioned, maybe he doesn't have a family. Maybe that's all an act. Well, he really wanted
he walks out with a bag, right? He has a bag. So what's in that bag?
I'm sure the dolls and the serum. I know the serum's in there.
Right. So that's what I mean. Now I'm assuming there's a direct sequel to this one. You said there's a bunch more.
Sure.
So I wonder, what new puppets are going to come out, from this? Unless, I don't know when Demonic Toys versus the Puppetmaster is, but I wonder if maybe
before this.
Oh, it was Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that's 2004. And it's funny, who I just got up just before we started doing this. I talked with Peter Bernstein, which we're going to do an episode in January. We're trying to figure out what sequel to do for him because his career, he's done so much, and his legendary father, Elmer, he worked on that. I saw that on his IMDb while we were talking. I didn't ask him about it, but it was like 2004, Demonic Toys versus Puppetmaster versus Demonic Toys.
See, now that's a sequel. If I had to watch one of them, because you would think there'd be a lot more toys and puppets than this movie.
What if there wasn't?
Then I wasted another hour and a half of my life.
Do you think Demonic Toys talk?
I hope one of them does. I mean, like, because if the movie's based on 2 franchises, and it's the big battle, you're going to tell me not one puppet's going to talk the whole time?
Yeah. What about Ghoulies? They should do like a Ghoulies versus Gremlins. Or
Ghoulies versus Critters.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
I would like that.
Get on it.
All right. So I think you know how you feel about this movie, but
No.
trying to think of like what to. No, I know you're not. I don't recommend it. Trying to think like. I think we talked about all the things that like could have made it not to save the movie, but like.
No, you needed more emotion, like more emotion from the puppets. I feel like it was the way they had the puppets in this movie was very cheesy. Like they barely moved. Like, again, we joke about Munchie and how, he looks like a broken animatronic with his hands going like this and, and he doesn't move his mouth, but at least he moved, these puppets literally look like someone just turning their head and turning their head back. And that to me was one fault. And the other one is there's not a lot of puppet scenes. It's mostly these other actors who look like they really don't want to be there. Except for Sarge.
Sarge. Yeah. Sarge living large. I love that guy. I think, really, he was like, so when he first spoke, because the first like 15 minutes were like so rough.
Yeah.
But when he first spoke, I'm like,
yeah, I know.
God, this is great
I agree.
to see somebody that. And not like I never say the other people aren't trying, just they're not good at good at acting and trying.
I agree. And to answer your question, should anyone watch this movie? I'm going to say if there's like 13 of them, I can't imagine. And I could be wrong. I can't imagine any of them being much worse than this one. Wow. So if we eliminate this one, you have 12 more to choose from. Watch those. Or watch one of those. Take a chance, roll the dice, pick one of them. If it lands on 7, watch 7. I can't imagine it being worse than this one.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
If anybody listening has seen all of them, please let us know your rankings of the top 10 at Sequels Only, or just email us, Doug@sequelsonly.com, whatever's easier for you. But so that kicks off our holiday season, because I guess there are sort of toys. But next is actually like a real Christmas movie, because it has like Santa in it. Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. So really, we've done it, man. We went from Halloween 8, so like 8, and then we did Freddy's Dead, which is the 6th one, and then we did Friday 7, and now we're doing Puppetmaster 10, and then we're going to 5. So we're getting close to the beginnings of movies, but I think the farther out they go, they're just as fun because they're over the top.
I feel like we have a train wreck that's been going for the past few movies. Like I can't remember the last good movie we watched, and I feel like the movies are getting worse and worse. We saw the worst Friday the 13th, the worst Halloween, the worst like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, that's not the worst Friday the 13th.
Well, it's up there. It is up there. But I just feel like it's like getting so. I can't imagine what number 5 of Silent Night, Deadly Night is going to be, and I've never seen any of them. So
it has Mickey Rooney. It's got Clint Howard. It's directed by our friend Brian Usna, and it has the opening scene. This is our first opening scene credit kill. Like before the credit, the title card kill, and that was Van Quattro. Man, I love talking to Van. He was so cool. He had a rough childhood, and we talked about like how that molded him into getting to, and he had such an interesting life before acting, like traveling the world, like one of those guys, like, you know what? I'm going to go live in Europe for 2 years. And he go, I live in London. And he like just met all of these people And then he was into the theater, so he was able to do theater over there. And then his acting career, like just the things that he worked on over the years, Fight Club, just talking about like how intimate some of those scenes were, like filming wise, and how everybody was so creative and bouncing ideas off each other. And that's like a big movie. And they're like, oh, I love what you did. What do you want to try in the next take? Like all these different things, which is so neat. LA Bounty we talked about with Sybil Danning, and of course we talked about a little bit of Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. But yeah, he was really cool. So that's really a great interview, because we obviously talked about acting, but like what like built him into an actor, like his foundation. And I love talking to him. So that's gonna be a good one, and the movie is gonna be fun too. Another one that's free on Tubi, which I love Tubi because they have a ton of movies.
There's a reason why these movies are free. That's just.
But yeah, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.